Google has announced a new ethics council to examine its development of AI, specifically facial recognition and fairness in machine learning. The 8-person council will meet quarterly and it seeks to provide diverse perspectives to inform our work. It comes at a time when tech giants are facing more scrutiny than ever. So, is this the right move? For tonight's Taking Stock, we're joined by Claire Kimball, founder of The Squiz and former media advisor to Prime Minister Tony Abbott, and Jack Delosa, founder of The Entourage and host of Entrepreneurs right here on Your Money. Thank you both for being with us. What do you think about this? Ethics, Google, is it about time? What do you think?
Ethics, Google, same sentence. I have a problem with some of
Do not
that.
compute.
Oxymoron. So I think you can kind of see where I'm going.
Yeah.
It really strikes me as something out of Hollow Men. We've got a problem, let's have a council, tick. Quarterly meetings, gee, that's going to be effective, isn't it? They're taking it
They're
really
going to publish
seriously.
a report, you know. We're going to be able
report,
to...
isn't that great? Yeah.
Why? What's the issues we've got with Google specifically with ethics, though?
They're so big, they're running their own race, they own the world. These are just things to really go through lawmakers to tick boxes around compliance. I don't think it means anything much, to be honest.
Jack, thoughts?
I really agree. You know, I was sort of looking into this today, and firstly, meeting quarterly. You know, at the rate of development of AI, particularly in Google. I mean, if you want a mechanism or a body to genuinely influence everything, you know, they're meeting at least weekly, and so quarterly meeting. You got it. They are publishing a report. That was the only real sort of thing that I could see that came with any level of disclosure. But again, we've got to remember, and they've sort of positioned this cleverly, they're positioning it as an external ethics council. That's not the same as being an independent ethics council. It just means that they're people that are sort of non-executive in Google. But it's not an independent council, so they're still employed by the organisation. And so Google still have full control over what's published in any reports and even what these people see and all of that sort of stuff. So to me, it is a tick the box kind of a thing, and I think they've attracted a lot of negative publicity over their participation, particularly in some military projects with AI, and so I see this as really ticking the PR box for them culturally.
Do you think that the fact that they're doing this speaks to the fact that, well, maybe it's a fact, that people in general are a little bit uneasy about the rise of AI? We've seen too many, you know, iRobot movies. You know, are we genuinely worried that there might come a time when, you know, we don't have control anymore?
Yeah, and I think just Australians' reticence, particularly about even getting a home device. You know, I think Australia has a really big hurdle to jump before we even go to something that we're happy to switch on in our home. I think other countries are probably a little bit easier about that. But yeah, there's definitely a path that we're heading down, and I think some resistance around that is only natural, and companies like Google do need to do a better job of explaining that.
Although I must admit, I thought of you, Jack, with this one because because they're saying one of the areas they're going to focus on is where AI could have disastrous social impact, such as facial recognition, which we as a panel have discussed before. You know, going through airports, scan your face, and Jack says, well, you know, I haven't done anything wrong, who cares? They can track me all they want. I'm not doing anything illegal. But then, you know, you go through some of this detail and, like, IT leaders around the globe, they do these surveys, like 9/10 of them say they want a greater focus on the ethical development of stuff like this, which suggests to me the people who are in the know reckon this is really dangerous stuff, which made me say maybe we shouldn't be so easygoing. I mean, maybe you said, cavalier, like, oh, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. Maybe there's something really kind of sinister that's starting to develop that we don't even realise.
I think that's 100% true when it comes to AI. Okay. I think that AI is going to have far
Half the time
more...
I don't know what AI really means.
It's like it's artificial intelligence.
I just throw that out there.
Sorry, that's obvious.
No, but you're the expert. Go.
It's a network of computers, if you like, that can think, and they can think at thousands, perhaps millions of times faster than we can, and their bandwidth to compute things can be thousands or millions of times greater than ours can. And so, and they will be self-learning and could self-grow and all of that sort of stuff. And so, you know, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most intelligent people on the planet is Elon Musk, right? And he is petrified by this issue. And he said, all you need to do is you need to build an intelligent AI and program it to make money, because AI can't distinguish between right and wrong. It doesn't have ethics, right?
Yes.
And so program it to make money. All it needs to do is go short on consumer goods, invest in military companies start a war, and it will have made money. It will have achieved its objectives,
right.
and it will be able to do that far better and far faster and far more effectively
Than
than
any
any
human.
human
Yeah.
or any bunch of humans could even attempt to stop it. It's scary.
Right.
And even like getting out of the
terrifying,
realm of what might happen to what is happening, you look at China and the social credit system. It is terrifying, the fact that governments can, to your usual point, Jack, I notice you haven't rolled it out tonight, that if you're not doing anything wrong, it's all fine.
Just still stick by. We're very good. Let's just stick by the fact we're good citizens.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank
that
you.
journalists can be stopped from accessing the internet if they've written something bad about
Yeah.
the government. You know, that people's transport can be cancelled because they haven't paid a fine. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that social credit system is one thing. And then, I was looking at these facial recognition algorithms. They say one example of why it becomes kind of sinister in some instances is that, it becomes more accurate for some parts of society than others. So you have this danger of automating things like racial profiling.
Yeah.
And then that just gets completely out of control once those computers start building and learning all of that. So there's kind of all sorts of issues. And someone else saying, great, you can have advice from AI expert groups, but unless stuff's enforced by law, then stuff's
Yeah,
pointless.
well, that's
that
it.
report is
Exactly.
like, cool, throw it in the
It's
recycling
commissioned
bin
and paid
because
for and controlled
it's got
by
to be
the
enforced
company.
by law, for sure. All right, a Victorian school has become the latest to join a no ribbons, no certificates movement, which is going reward-free to tackle what they describe as the bubble wrap generation. Helicopter parents, concierge parents, whatever you want to call them, experts say we have now the most child-centric parenting era ever. What do you think, guys? Do you like the idea of no ribbons, no certificates? It's all about your personal best. You can run a race with others around you, but you just must beat your time from last year. And if you're doing your best, then good on you. Thoughts?
So, in my view, a really good objective for schools to aspire towards is to prepare people for the world, right? And so if we agree that that's should be the objective of schools, well then school should do its best to simulate the real world as best as possible. And the real world, the economy, the job market, the housing market, the publicity market, the real is fraught with competition. I mean, that's what capitalism is. And it's the best system that we've ever found in practice. And so it's just another example, in my view, of traditional education veering off even further away from real world application and preparing people for what's to come after school.
Although we have that issue of, the people who are ahead get further ahead in life and the people left behind, get left further behind. And you want to talk about a running race at school. I mean, that's what capitalism is almost about, this inequality that we're kind of struggling to resolve now.
But the kid that loses the running race will beat the kid that won the running race in the engineering exam.
Yeah.
I mean, Einstein's often misattributed with the quote.
The guy that goes to chess club doesn't try and beat the guys at handball at lunchtime type of thing.
And if you don't have a mechanism to determine how good you are at different things, like how are you supposed to know and how are you supposed to find your own talents and find what you're good at and find what you're not good at? We all have weaknesses.
Which is the problem with these NAPLAN tests and everything that we've got too. Claire, what do you think?
And not knowing how to compete, or not knowing how not to compete isn't the answer to this, because it is a competitive world and you need to take wins and losses and deal with both of those sorts of things, and sometimes be mediocre as well, but know where you're ranked somewhere. As a mother of a French bulldog, I feel really qualified to comment on these.
Often I think the reason why it's so important is it does mirror like what happens in the workplace.
It
And
does.
all these,
Yeah,
often
it
we have
does.
these work coach type people in, and it's actually a lot of the parenting lessons you're trying to take away from parenting experts. It's the same kind of stuff in
And
the
what I
workplace. Like how are you
learned on-
incentivising people and letting them do their best, but realising it's a competitive environment. It's the same in the workplace, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what I learned on the sporting field and what I learned competitively in class and exams and all of that kind of stuff really does set you up for, it's okay to be ambitious. It's okay to want to be the best at something.
Yes.
When I read the headline here,
crush
I
ambitions
thought
as well.
what they were talking about was that we're not going to be giving out 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th ribbons. It's just going to be back to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. But no, instead they're getting rid of all ribbons and you're only focusing
exactly
on
what I
competing
thought.
with yourself.
Yeah.
Which to me is really strange, because I think there's still merit in knowing that you're the fastest. They're not
Yeah.
getting rid of the fact that you're the fastest in the
Know
school,
anyway,
right?
don't they? I mean, they know. They keep trackers scores. If these games of soccer that aren't scored, the kids come
Sounds
home
like we're not convinced here.
I think humans
Not convinced.
humans
convinced.
are inherently competitive,
Yeah.
I think.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep, exactly. All right, now we want to ask you and, well, you guys on the panel, but also you at home, what is the most ordinary thing as an ordinary person that you've actually never done? There's this Twitter thread that's gone viral after a UK photographer posed this question to his followers after admitting that he'd actually never ever eaten Subway, which he thought was quite a big thing. But there's a lot of pretty basic things that people have confessed to having never done, and you get the feeling sometimes then people get very proud of it. People who have never bought coffee in a coffee shop, for example. Someone saying they've never eaten cheese. Someone
a
else
big
saying
one.
they'd never seen Friends, Frasier or Seinfeld. Someone else saying they'd never eaten McDonald's, never seen Star Wars films. There was a whole list. It has gone absolutely wild, this thread. So some of those will go up on screen. That was a good one. Never in McDonald's, 52 years old. What about that? No Star Wars
Never seen
films.
Star Wars, yeah, a lot of them were movies.
So they're kind of scrolling through, guys. What's the most ordinary thing you've not done as an ordinary person?
And talking
Claire.
about being competitive, I mean, these people sit around.
I know.
Yeah, it's a real
Last
badge of
minute
honour,
ever.
isn't it? Yeah, true.
Man,
Even being ordinary, we want to be the best, right?
exactly.
Totally.
Never eaten an egg.
Really?
What?
Just because you didn't think you'd like it? Like, is that...
I think that's where it started.
Yep.
And now it's.
I was not
is
expecting
terrible.
that. That's a big one.
There you go.
That would be at home in that thread.
What about like
I know.
That is
eggs in it, like a
fascinating.
cheesecake?
No. Oh, well, look, that's like if it's
No,
a
but in an egg, like eaten
like
Yeah.
This is what the rest of the show is going to be now. It's like, what about mayo? What about...
Fine. I can answer it all.
Wow, that's awesome. That's such a good one. I mean, really.
Jack?
That's hard to top. Jack, what do you got?
Second that. I mean, really, I was struggling to think of it as you're bringing it up on the screen.
I know we were calling partners
Yeah.
and saying, is there
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I should have
What am
done.
I-
I should have dug deeper.
Well, so, Brooke, you've got one,
Oh,
right?
I've never eaten tinned tuna.
Oh, yeah.
Grosses me out.
good
And
thing. That's a
everyone's
good
like,
one.
oh, it's such an easy, healthy dinner.
Yeah.
Why you watch
People-
tinned tuna?
gross.
Can't,
Yeah.
never touch
Well,
it.
people in
Won't
our
touch
newsroom
it.
eat them every
Never
day,
tried it.
right?
Your partner did tell you that one, didn't you?
I know, he knows.
I could ask my
But yeah,
parents.
that's because I come across that almost every day of my life, that people
Yeah.
are eating tuna around me. Never
All
tried
around
it.
constantly,
And
yeah.
I've never seen Top Gun or The Godfather or Pulp Fiction. There we go. Never
Wow.
tried it.
There's some big ones, yeah.
Impressive list.
Apparently,
Never seen.
I'm not alive because I've never
Do
seen
you
it.
like
Right.
John Hamm? You know, from Mad Men?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, not that. Well,
Seen
he's
either
the
Mad Men.
sequel of Top Gun.
I think I mentioned before I'm a big fan of John Candy, but that's not what this
Okay.
segment is
That's
about.
not, but that's good to know. We're going to squirrel that one away for later. No, I was thinking about this and I was having a bit of a hard time.
He was having
Landed
a
on the
hard
fact that I don't think I've ever worn a bow tie, which I don't know if
Yeah.
that's... I mean, it's a bit of a hoity-toity thing to
could
say
be your
anyway,
thing. You've
right?
got a
Not missing
pockets
out on
for it.
anything.
Yeah, I don't think I'm missing out on much. But yeah, also movies. I've never seen The Parent Trap, and it drives my wife completely insane. Like, it's one of her big things to try and get me to watch The Parent Trap, and I love holding it out. You know, no. You know what? No, I'm not
Never
going to watch
watched
that.
it. I'm never going to watch it.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you're going to have to tweet at us when you figure it
Yes.
out. You're going to have to let us know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
good.
ask my partner.
Because he's pretty damn ordinary, this Jack Delosa. I can't believe he couldn't figure something. Thank you so much, extraordinary,
Thank you.
ordinary panel guests. Thank you, Claire, Jack.
Thank you.
Very good to have you guys on.